Everyone, welcome to our 10th webinar. And for the first time, we're doing a LiveOps Deconstruct session, which we all are very excited about. John and Michael, our featured guests, will be leading this insightful discussion, and I will introduce them shortly. I'm Antonina, Growth and Partnerships Manager at Balancy, and I'll be hosting the session, assisting with questions and watching out for time. If you can hear me clearly, feel free to say hello in the chat and let us know where you're joining from. While everyone is still joining, let me outline a quick plan for today. It will just be a brief 7-hour session. All right, just kidding. We'll try to wrap it in an hour. We will start by looking at what gaming studios are prioritizing in 2025. Then we will delve into analyzing LiveOps of Mad Skills Motocross 3, one of Turborilla's flagship titles, highlighting the best LiveOps practices inside the game, sharing what can be enhanced, and discovering the untapped potential. The last 10 minutes of the webinar we will dedicate to Q&A, and hopefully we have time for that. We'll try to make sure. Throughout the session, I would like to encourage you to leave your questions as we will circle back to them. And if you like the format, feel free to suggest any game for a similar analysis. We may do an article or a webinar about it. This webinar is brought to you by Balancy. To those of you who are unfamiliar with our platform, I would like to take a brief moment to introduce it to you. Product managers use Balancy daily to convert more players with personalized offers, prevent churn with engaging event schedules, and test new LiveOps ideas without overloading the development team. Our platform supports teams at Amanotes, Line Studios, Quali, and many others. Simply put, we do the heavy lifting with the backend so you can focus on creating great games. I'll add the link in the chat right now. Feel free to register at balancy.dev and create your first LiveOps project to explore all the features. Wonderful. I can see so many people joining. Poland. Great. Yes. I'm in Canada right now. Michael is in Cyprus and John is in England. So we are an international team. And without further ado, joining me today are our two fantastic guests. First, let me introduce you my teammate, Michael Khripin, our product owner at Balancy. He's the strategic mind behind many of the tools our partners use every day, and one of the go-to voices in the LiveOps space. You can catch his weekly insights on his LinkedIn. And our special guest for the evening, John Wright, current CEO of Turborilla, with a background as VP of mobile games at Quali and over 12,000 followers on LinkedIn. John brings deep experience and bold perspective on what it takes to build successful games at scale. John, before we start the deconstruct, first of all, congratulations on your new role at Turborilla. And you've only been in this role for over 3 months. I wanted to ask you, how has that been treating you?
Yeah, look, I've very much enjoyed it. I've been aware of the company for a long time. I've been connected with the founders and the investors for a long time. And I have a fantastic team, both of people in Sweden, in Umeå, where our office is, or our international team in the US and the rest of Europe. So I'm very fortunate to work on an amazing franchise with good people. And I think the most amazing thing for me is, even though the games have been in the market for a couple of years now, we're still finding ways and means to improve them. And even in the last 2 months, we've managed to increase Android LTV by 25% for a game that's 4 years old. So,
wow, yes. So big impact right there.
Yeah, exactly. There's so much to do and what you can do with like older games and catalog games now. So yeah, I very much enjoy it.
Okay, that's wonderful. Good to hear. And there is a lot to come. It's only been 3 months, so yes.
Exactly.
So I wanted to step into the topic of our presentation more closely. So to our guests, you may have seen John speak recently at Fingersoft Way Forward Finland event on the topic "Retention is the New Acquisition." And John is right. Fewer games are making it to top charts, and those that do invest in systems that build lasting players' relationships. So the integral part of any game, of any winning game, is content. So John, in your presentation, you mentioned content pillars such as IP integrations, metagame, LiveOps, and few others. Do you prioritize any of those content pillars at Turborilla?
Yeah, I mean, look, if you were to play any of our games, we actually have all of these, including IP integrations within the basics of our games. But we just launched a new season today, so we launched season 11,
Yes.
which we had partnerships with Fly Racing, which is an actual real world motocross racing brand. And every season we actually speak with actual brands in the real world about integrating versions of their bikes and their gear into the games, and it gives a huge sense of credibility for the sport within our games. But if I had to focus on the two most important, it's meta, right? Meta progression is ultimately the thing that's going to get you past day 7 or day 14 retention, and our games are very community led, so we want to have very long retention curves. And then live ops, it's the lifeblood of keeping things fresh, and content is king. And equally, as you said, you don't want to create you want to create systems to be able to do this easily. You don't want to be on the content treadmill, every bi-weekly sprint worrying about, oh, have you got enough new content in there to retain the users for longer, right? You have to have systems in place, automate this as much as you can. And if you do all of these things, I think you're making an amazing game, and you can, hopefully you'll have a game like us, which has been in the market for 4 or 5 years, and it's still getting stronger even in its 4th year. So that's the game, right? That's where we are today.
Yes. Thank you, John. So this gives us a perfect lead into the deconstruct. So I will pass the word to Michael. Michael, please take it away. And yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you to all guests. Thank you for joining us today. We will try this new format for us, and it's the first time we're trying to deconstruct a game live and with our guest who is deeply related to that game. So, what we did, we obviously prepared a bit for that. So, I played the game uh, for a few days, I would say, to understand uh, how game is doing onboarding for new players, how it works with retention, how it converts players to payers, how it works with regular updates and so on. And I try to figure out these systems that John is talking about. How are they interconnected? How are they being uh, gradually unlocked to the player? And I had a few questions, which I would like to ask John about. So we decided to make this session a bit interactive. So I will not speak all the time. I have a few topics to discuss, and on every slide, I will highlight some things that I would like to hear John's opinion about. Um, so when we start the game, um, we um, we are being introduced to a few features from the start, and more of them are locked by the level. And some things which are most interesting for a community, for such a game that is community driven, are actually locked behind some level progression. For example, to get leagues mechanic unlocked, We need to get to level 6. But I noticed that the game starts encouraging people to join League when they're actually on level 5. So that appeared to me a bit confusing because if you see that screen, that promo, and if you join, you cannot actually join because you are still level 5 and leagues are locked. And at this moment, I would like to ask John, what was the reasoning behind this decision to keep this gated at this moment? And like maybe it was all about building anticipation, about wandering around the UI and so on. But how about that?
Yeah, so look, with the games that we have, there is multiple features and options within the game itself. So funneling people in the early stages of the Fatui from like the career mode into other modes is highly important. But ultimately, the reason we did this was classic FOMO. We wanted people from level 5. So at level 5, they've already played, a handful of races. They've already probably completed one of the countries in career mode, maybe looking to move from the bike 1 to bike 2. And it's coming to a point where it's vital for us to get them to expand out of the career mode, because the career mode, whilst it has customized tracks and you can customize your bike, it's fairly repetitive, Michael, right? So for what we found is that there was essentially a hook point. And the hook point was, we knew the career mode would get people to level 5. And then if we started just building that anticipation, building that FOMO, and advertising the ability to join the league at level 5, that would give them that final push that we needed for them to grind a little bit more in the career mode to get to level 6, then to get into league. And league is highly competitive, right? Highly community led, and has a much stickier sort of traction with our user base. So yeah, essentially it was good old fashioned FOMO, I would say, and some sort of funneling.
Was that implemented this way from the very beginning, or you noticed some like gaps in our deep like in some metrics that you would like to improve, and you figured how to improve them by doing this?
Exactly. Look, just standard churn analysis. We were looking at each of the different. So we obviously track the events of each of the individual races, right? So you have the countries, and then you have multiple races within the country. They're all named. And what we saw was, again, people got to 5, 6, 7 races, and it started to get a bit repetitive. And we knew we needed to implement a new feature, which League is that feature. But what we found was that if we were to advertise it slightly earlier, when we started to see that drop off, it started to actually improve that point. So just again, standard churn analysis, we found this sort of building this anticipation allowed us to improve the drop off from that sort of amount of time spent in the session. And it sort of carried people over to them getting to level 6 to unlock league, which then allowed them to do much more sort of competitive, player versus player sort of interactions, as well as building the community and stuff like that.
Thank you. Pretty clear. Another thing from that slide, could you please bring it back? It's about daily goals that actually being refreshed pretty regularly, and it was really fun when I managed to complete all these goals before timer runs out, and the game proposed me to give me another set of goals while we still have some time. And I clearly started to completing this goal again on like second iteration. They were generated differently, so no repetitiveness here. And it definitely prolonged my play session.
Yes.
Could you confirm that it was made exactly for that?
Exactly that, Michael. So if
Good.
you think about it very simply, you have in most games of this sort, you have daily goals and you'll have free goals. And in our games, it could be do 2 front flips, do 4 back flips, do a wheelie for 3 seconds. But we know people will replay levels to complete those goals, right? And it's not just the sense of like the financial reward or the soft currency reward, it's the sense of achievement, right? Like people want to feel that sense of achievement, and that is the psychology of games. And what we found was giving people, like, again, if they want to, you know, work hard to complete those goals, and then giving them another set of goals, just basically created that same effect, right, with the behaviors. And then what we found was the session lengths went up. And there is maybe an argument of, you know, is it overkill? Are you not worried about it affecting the following day's retention because someone's played it so much today? But the way that we look at it is, you know, today's today, right? Tomorrow you never know what's going to happen. So maximizing today's session is more important than worrying about what could happen tomorrow, right?
Well,
So
sometimes it gets too far because I had an experience with playing games which not limit first session anyhow. So my first session was about 4 hours, and I hated the game next day, and I never got back. But okay. I hope you're.
it
I
works
hope
for
you
us.
can try.
Okay, it might not work for you,
Yeah,
but it works for us, all right?
work works for you. Yeah. Okay, let's go to the next one. So I noticed in the shop that you never use any badges to highlight some of the packs or slots, like best choice or
Mhm,
like most popular or something.
mhm.
Uh, did you try this and turned off, or you didn't notice any difference? So it's pretty standard practice, and I was surprised
Yeah, I mean, look,
not seeing.
from the screenshot, you can see the value add multipliers, right? You can see the yellow bits which say,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, you get much more for this price point, which again is very industry standard. But in terms of a badge that says best value, no. I mean, you know, I've not seen it. I mean, it's something I think probably we have tested in the past. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head, but something that I guess we'll add into the pipeline and test again. You know,
Okay. And I noticed that these slots in the shop are sorted from low prices to high prices.
yeah,
From my standpoint, this is a clear sign of the game being targeted to casual spenders because the
correct.
first thing they see are low prices, and they are not like scared away by $100 payment and so on. Is it correct?
Correct.
Your like most of your audience are casual players.
Yeah, exactly. So we're very fortunate in the fact that our CPI in tier one countries is under $1. So it's in the US, for example, on iOS, it's about 70 cents, which is amazing for a casual game. But what we do and what we market to is a casual audience. And whilst we have some you would refer to them as whales, but I don't like using that term anymore because, you know, I feel like it's not the same way as it used to be, you know, post IDFA and stuff like that. But essentially, the lower price points are the ones we get the most traction on. This is why, you know, as a casual game, even at a 199 conversion, we're highly profitable off the CPI. And you get some people who want to buy, you know, the unlock the seasons, which we'll talk about later, which is like a 9.99. But the bulk of the transactions are for hard currency to unlock bikes. And again, there is a progression system there, so it does get more expensive the more powerful the bike is. But overall, the game is 40% in that purchase, 60% ads. So it's in that hybrid monetization, so people can still continue to play it without current.
40% is a bit high. Like,
Yeah, it's I would say average for a casual game, or
okay.
maybe 50-50 for a casual game of this style.
Or
So
maybe it tells us that it is done very, very effectively in your particular case.
I mean, yeah, okay, all the props goes to the product team, not me.
Right. Okay, let's go to the next slide and talk about subscriptions. So your game has a subscription plans, and you have not only one subscription but three options. And when you promote subscription, you are clearly showing all three of them. And this design tells me that you most probably use first two of them as a decoy, just to lure people to buy more of the third one, which is twice more expensive and gives them everything. And it is clearly highlighted here, like a golden frame and beautiful stuff. So I would like to ask you, if it's not a secret, what's the proportion of the people who are preferring the cheaper option and expensive option, or that does it work this way, or you are
Yes.
so effectively like luring them to buy the most expensive one that these are just images?
No, look, this is just traditional signposting, right? This is what this is
Yeah.
advertising 101. This is the way that you're trying to set this up is to force people to look at the one which is the highest value. So even though it's more expensive, it has the most value, right? It has the most amount of unique things that are associated to it. But in all fairness, people still predominantly go for more of the lower price points than for the one that we're trying to advertise as having the most value, because ultimately price is a deterring factor. So even though we're highlighting this and we're trying to get people to obviously get the Pro Pass Plus, it's still like the smaller subscriptions. But we also then do see upgrades, right? So some people will
So
think,
they upgrade.
yeah, exactly. And
Okay.
it might basically, Michael, most people start earlier, like for a cheaper subscription, and eventually over time they want more value and they realize that the one that we've highlighted in gold does have the most value, and eventually they will migrate there. But at that sort of like $13 a month price point, it's not cheap, right? So it takes a special type of user. So if you're a hardcore user, it's the best one for you because it has the most value, right? But if you're new to the game, $13 a month is can be quite expensive. So again, what we see is a transition from cheaper subscriptions to that one once they have gone past the threshold of being more casual to being more of a hardcore player.
That's great. Okay, clearly. So, from the first session, players already introduced with special offer. That one, I guess, is the major conversion point for
Yep.
first buyers. And you're clearly designed it the way that you are selling like overpower when players still not need this bike. They are on the bike one in the first country and it works pretty well, and they are still getting used to upgrading their bike. And but you're already selling them the second one, which will be of the most used in the next country in the few days in the future. And you show this offer in many places. We can see it in the shop the same way. We can see it on the main screen. Then sometimes you even trigger the reminder pop-up, which will appear on the screen when you are getting back from the playing level. So many conversion points, many ways to remind them about that. Um, but what I would like to discuss is that your game is like physics based. It's like a casual simulator, if I can say it. So when players get more powerful bike, it is obviously harder to control.
Mhm.
And if you introduced this second bike at the first game session, when they are still not used even to the first bike, um, trying to drive on the second one would be too hard for them. I felt it myself, and I almost stopped playing because for me it was too hard to control because I still don't have this practical skill
Mhm.
how to handle this power. And my question was about um, do you see any negative effects of selling this power too early to those players who don't have skill yet?
Sure. So the reason that we do it very simply is we know there's a massive traction point or a hook at the end of the first country. So once you've completed Germany and you go into Canada, that is a massive point for long tail retention. So if we get people to go into the second world, we know the likelihood of them staying around for longer is much higher. So we try and do a lot of funneling to give them the ability to get to the second world. And equally, look, there's also the fact is from a mental um, a perspective, like once you've done an in-app purchase, that your sort of commitment to the game is normally much higher, right? Because you've spent money. So the idea is that for us, again, if we can funnel them to purchasing the second bike, which gets them to the second world, then normally what we've found is that that in turn has resulted in keeping that user around for a lot longer. So it's all
Mhm.
about, like, again, just gradually pushing the user to making that decision because we know it will have a massive traction. But you are right. Every bike has different power, different sensitivity, and bike two is harder to master than bike one. But the bulk of users normally don't think about upgrading to bike two, even with all of the signposting, until at least a couple of they've completed a couple of tracks. So I wouldn't say that anyone really downloads the game for the first time and then upgrades the bike straight away. It's always like, okay, we're going to play a little bit, play a little bit, play a little bit, and then they they want to pay for progression. They want to pay to win
Mhm.
essentially, which is the behaviours of games. But you are right. It's not as simple as the difference. I think with our games is it's not as simple as purchasing a more powerful item. There is a level of skill behind it, right? Because
Yeah.
yeah, if you just race the bike because of the way the jumps and stuff are set up, if you just hold down the accelerator, you're going to crash and then you'll lose and you have to restart and stuff. So there is an element of skill as well as mastery around that.
What I'd like to highlight here, and for all of our guests, it could be useful as well, that please be careful when you design your special offers, starter packs, welcome packs. You might accidentally give too much that it will ruin players' experience after the purchase. So it might happen that they paid you money, they got something, but their actual player experience got worse. Uh, Keep it in mind. It's not always like that, but if that happens, you might lose some players after that. Okay, let's go to the next one. And here, yes, we can see how you remind players about this um, special offer. if they didn't see it for quite some time. That's a good idea because you have many other places where we can see it, but sometimes it's good to just to show it to your face. Okay, uh, the next one. So I just figured that I might show you this small little UI glitch that I noticed. So when you're showing this offer on the main screen or at the garage, you accidentally overlapping the old price crossed out with the timer. So when players see this offer here, they cannot actually track the time of that offer. Probably it's of course a minor thing, but sometimes people are very precise about their experience around these things, and they might want to see it clearly without double checking in the shop. All right. Let's get to daily deals. Your game shop has this dedicated section for daily deals, and this is one of the quite effective drivers for the traffic into your shop because this section is regularly refreshed. It provides you with ever change ever changing content quite often, and I wonder that it really drives, it's part of revenue for you because people are constantly monitoring shop, trying to find something randomly appeared there and catch it before it go away. How does it work for you here?
Yeah, look, I think so. The fact is, people have a natural want to customize their gear to the things that they like, right? And as you can see here, you can see the Belgian decal. There's also the United Kingdom decal, the German decal, the American decal. So you, any country in the world, you could basically buy a customized bike for your country, which builds a sense of patriotism and stuff like that, which we know is also a nice driver. But ultimately, Michael, we have a lot of customization potential. We have a lot of ability to create that sort of uniqueness to your bike and your garage, you know, with multiple bikes, multiple helmets, multiple different gears. And again, look, if we look at the season passes and stuff, make up like a big part of the revenue, but this also makes up, I think it's about 25-30% of the in-app purchase revenue comes from sort of the ability to customize.
That's great. That's huge.
Yeah, and obviously
Because
this is
pure customization, it doesn't affect performance. It's just beautiful pixels there. People love them.
yeah, and look, this is why we do the real world integrations with the actual bike manufacturers, right? We actually the brands that we operate with, like Fox Racing or Alpine or Fly, these are real world brands that we partner with to bring their brands into our games, and essentially we get a sense of credibility with a motocross audience because they're seeing real brands that power the sport they love, but equally the brands are getting huge amounts of exposure. You know, we have approximately about 10 million now, so that's like 10 million people that are seeing their brand, right? This is amazing for them because they're then getting a knock-on effect of people that love the sport wanting to buy their brand because they've seen it in a game or maybe been introduced to it. So like this sort of stuff goes both ways essentially, with the ability to do customized content that is non-real world, and then the real world aspect is another level to this, right? So but it works very well for us.
That's great. And I believe I know what question the audience would ask here because it's always hard to figure out what price to put to clearly customization stuff. Because when you sell power, it's pretty much easy to define the price for that. But when you sell skins, it's pure vanity and like how you came up with these prices because they are not cheap. Obviously, they're
They're not.
like €7, €8, just for skin. And you are selling the bike for two with some other stuff. So did you test these prices
Yeah, I
somehow?
mean, yeah, exactly that. So we obviously have tested multiple different price points of different types of bikes, and the different style of bikes equals different price points. But equally, remember with the progression system that we have, when you move from bike one to bike two to bike three to bike four, the power goes up, but also the price of the bike goes up, right? So there is progression pricing to the power, and how we came to the pricing of the cosmetics was looking at that as an average across the multitude of users that get to that point. And there is a bunch of people who have bike 11, which is our most powerful bike, our most expensive bike. And every time we do a new bike drop where we create a new bike that's even more powerful, we get a huge spike of revenue. We only
Mhm.
do it about twice a year because it for league and the P versus P stuff, bringing a new bike brings in a new way of winning. You know,
Mhm.
like this
Yeah,
but if everyone's got the same bike, then it's all down to skill. But if someone's got a more
of course.
powerful bike, then skill is important, but it's not the be all end all of how to win. So yeah, essentially it's all to do with like how we've looked at price points across the entirety of bikes across the last
Mhm.
4 years. And then there's a lot of A/B testing on the different price points. Some bikes are
Okay.
cheaper, some bikes are more expensive. It depends on how premium they are.
Hmm. Let's
Uh,
answer this
my
question.
apologies. I just wanted to bring the question up here because it's relevant to what we're discussing. So the question
Yep.
is from Max. Thank you so much for asking. And it's what's the process of working with external bike IP brands like? Is onboarding a new bike brand for a new skin normally a difficult thing to do, or is it pretty easy from the start to finish?
So it's a slightly more complex question because it depends on the brand, basically. Some brand, and look, you've also got to remember we're not dealing with Hasbro or Mattel who have like Monopoly and Transformers. We're dealing with motocross brands. Everyone's cool, everyone's laid back. It's a much more chill environment than the big tier one IPs. But all in all, they're still very protective over their brand. What we do is we have a meeting with one of their marketing managers. We'll come up with a design. We'll share that design with them. But all of this will take no longer than, say, 4 to 6 weeks, and some back and forth with legal. So, and remember, we've been doing this for quite a long time. Again, season 11 came out today, and we've got experience of dealing with the brands over that time. So we've got an established relationship. So at the beginning, it was harder. Now, because we've got multiple brands, and the other brands want to be included as well, and then we want to re-engage with other big brands that have already done something. So it makes it easier over time. But I would say it's the I've done IP integrations quite a lot over the last couple of years, and it's for me they've been the easiest ones that I've dealt with because of the nature of them.
Mhm. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, let's go to the next slide. And I'd like to ask, what's the reasoning behind giving different visual style for buttons, watch ad, uh, that basically do the same. So you just need to watch ad to get something, but in different places around the game, I noticed that you have different styles, visuals for these
Mhm.
buttons. One, for example, one is green, another one is yellow, and on another one you just put the word claim on it. And okay, it's every time it's clear what player has to do, but sometimes even on one screen you can see two different styles. Why is that?
So from our side, I think breaking it up and making it look a bit different essentially gave the how do I describe this? Making it different attracted users to believe it was something else than what it was. So what I mean by that is, like, if they see the same button time and time again, it can get a bit worn out. You know, oh, watch ad, watch ad, watch ad. With us, I think we tried a few different things in a few different places, and what we noticed was that the engagement was better with a more diverse set of buttons than having a uniform set of buttons across the game.
Usually we don't see this practice in casual games, so I was kind of surprised when I saw this assortment, you know.
Yeah.
And also
Maybe it's
quite
something
an interesting.
So maybe it's something that we need to A/B test again, right? Like, what if we were to change all of the buttons back to being one uniform button? Do we see, you know, like the percentage of RVs or the number of RVs per person per day? Like, does that go up or down? Like, maybe it's something that we should test. But at least historically, it had a better take rate.
Yes.
Also, I noticed that your ad monetization is also includes removing ads. Just that. Just pay for removing ads, and you actively promote it like a contextual offer when players see their first interstitial, and after that you immediately propose them to buy remove ads offer. Um, is it effective this way, or you should wait a bit until people get tired of these interstitials, like for watching them 20 times in a row, and after that they will be more converting? Or,
I think, look, from our perspective, it also comes down to the fact of that, like, our type of audience, and the fact that our monetization split is, again, it's very close to being half and half between IAP and ads. So the type of users that we have in tier one markets are people that I would say are less receptive to ads. Obviously, you know, when in, like, we have segmentation in tier three, and, you know, we show more higher frequency of interstitials, and we add banners and stuff like that in tier three. But if we look at tier one markets, just giving the ability to go ad free early on because of the type of audience we have has a good response. Because
right.
people have just would prefer not to have interstitial.
They just know it should be there, and they just wait until you like propose them and go straight away.
Yeah, exactly. It's a quick
That's
win.
kind of learned habits already.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go to the next one. Here, yes, you have free gift, works as a retention and engagement. That's great. You have multiple gifts that players can claim for by watching ads. I just noticed that you don't have any cooldowns here, so probably if people will watch all these ads one after another, you will get a bit less money as a ad revenue here, but I guess it's not so much important for you at this stage.
No,
But
as a company that still has most of its revenue coming from ad revenue, if we're able to stack RVs, ultimately it has a better impact on our ad ARPU. So, yeah, at least from our perspective, we've seen better results having it in this way.
okay, let's go to the next one. And yeah, you have that feature which proposes to get a new outfit for just watching ads. And um, after that, you in customization section, you can find these sort of outfits that you could take uh, you can like put on by watching ads, and there is a word rent for that, but you never show any like duration. How long will this rent take? And it still puzzles me because I don't know. When I pay rent, I know it should expire and I will pay again. But at this one case, you're showing this pop-up
Mm.
for new outfits for watching ads quite often, and at some point, uh, I personally stopped caring much about changing them all the time. How would you tell, how does it perform for you, this
Yeah.
particular feature?
Yeah, so there's a couple of things to unpack here. One is not all helmets or clothes or gear is the same, right? And the ones that we offer for free are, say, the lowest level of interest for most of the players, right? It's the same as if you were to compare it to CS:GO skins, right? Some CS:GO skins are worth $1, some of them are worth 1 million, right? And it's just because of the design of the skin itself. So, but what we're trying to do here is to try and influence the user to become someone who wants to upgrade their character. Because in the beginning, what we notice is not everyone cares about customization. People care about playing the levels, right? And grinding through the first couple of worlds. So,
Mhm.
what we're trying to do is create a behavior of someone who wants to create customize their character. So by giving them the ability to get some different gear so they can customize it, it will then start creating a behavior of where people want to then customize it to the style that they like, and that's when it starts influencing the IAP behavior. So it's
That,
show them this, get them understanding how the customization systems work, build out a taste for it, and then
mhm.
when they go into the dailies, then they'll be able to purchase something that really means something to them.
that's that's great, and it works. I believe it works. Let's go to the next one. Um, okay, you have Nitro, and uh, when I first used it, the game proposed me to buy one by watching ad, but anyway, and because I still had a lot, I figured that this offer is not personalized actually, and I immediately wanted to ask you if the game in general uses personalization for the offers. Do you actively track like personal players' progressions or deficits or profits and use them to like enhance the conversion?
So the honest answer is right now we predominantly use a segmentation strategy. Okay, same as a lot of people, but personalization is something that's on the roadmap. So it's something that we're actively working on now to ensure that these type of offers are targeted to an individual rather than a pool of users. So yeah, it's something that I think is well spotted. It's something that I think is a very valid feedback, and yeah, we are actively transitioning from more of a segmentation to a personalization strategy. This offer is more about getting someone to watch an RV and to stack the ad
Yeah.
count than it is about anything else. But your observation is correct, basically.
Okay. Okay. Let's go to the next one. I see we have a bit like behind the schedule, so probably this webinar will last a bit longer. But I hope you enjoyed. So getting to season passes. Actually, one of the most interesting themes and topics of this webinar. So please pay attention. Guys, this game allows you to reactivate previous season passes as if they are going right now. And imagine they are all here, and you can go back to the first one, activate it and play it. If you skip that, that's amazing. I never saw this thing in other games, and I really congratulate you with the design. And please just give me a hint how profitable it is.
Yeah, look, I think this is, again, if we're looking at, I mean, season passes, as I said earlier, is the bulk of our in-app purchase revenue, right? Like 30% is cosmetics, over 50% is this, and then there's say another 10-15, which is like miscellaneous, like different bits and pieces. But for me, this is one of the best features that we've developed. And look, seasons naturally have a start and a finish, right? That's the way of
Yeah.
seasons in every game. And what we're essentially saying here is that if you want to, get a season pass, you can go back to a previous season where there is limited time courses and tracks that you might love. There's different brands, right? So like what at the moment in season 11, we just launched with Fly Racing. But in season 8, it was Fox, and Fox is a bigger brand. So maybe people want to unlock it to activate season 8 to be able to get the gear that from season 8 because it was much cooler. So the ability to pay to unlock and re-engage with all of this historical content is extremely valuable. And yeah, like I said, from a product perspective, I think it's one of our smarter decisions and one of our most engaging sort of in-app purchase events.
Guys, you should check this game. Really, that's done so well here. Highly recommended. Okay, let's go to the next one, and we'll see the actual main screen of the season pass. And here I was a bit surprised because it's non-conventional. It's non-traditional structure. Only one track. Okay, there are two tracks, free and premium one, but they are kind of mixed all together. And on both tracks, rewards are missing, where on the other track they are presented. So you can like connect them like gears and have the complete one row. And this took some time for me to understand. Um, and I also noticed this like changing room, like when you can check all these cosmetics that are put into rewards and you can preview them, how they can look on your character or on your bike. I guess this makes a huge difference for your audience because they are all up to customization and all the stuff. So this motivates them way better than if they just saw these rewards and slots and so on.
Exactly.
How did you come up with this design?
Yeah, look, I think from our perspective, it was a lot of A/B testing and a lot of understanding of what actually was the motivations and what was the things that actually attracted the user to complete the season pass and why to go from one of the cheaper season passes to the premium pass or the Pro Plus, etc. But all in all, I think again it was just a lot of redesign, a lot of different testing, and a lot of understanding of what to show you the user or what not to show the user to get to build out that intrigue. And like you put, Michael, it's a lot to do with the gear. It's a lot to do with the digital ownership of the assets and the tracks. I don't think are the biggest driver because look, at the end of the day, there is some tracks are more iconic than others, but ultimately they do the same thing. You have a start point, you have an end point, you have jumps, you have big jumps, you have smaller jumps, etc., etc. But more of the look and the feel and the power of the bike and stuff like that is the real hooks here.
Okay. Another one that I noticed about your season pass is that you allow players to buy next levels, just directly buy them, and for hard currency. And that means that they might not even play the game to unlock all the rewards. Yeah, like you have 60 levels,
Mhm.
and players can actually scroll down to the sixth level and unlock all of them from the day one. It will cost them like 4 times of the price
Mhm.
of the premium track, I would say, like
Yeah.
about $40, I guess. But they will get the whole bunch of rewards of the day one. Does it affect engagement and retention and the whole meaning of the season passes that you will
Mhm.
come every day trying to complete all the levels and you just purchase them out?
Yeah, look, I mean, in this regard, there's probably only been a very few number of people that have ever done what you're describing, right? Like who have literally paid to unlock everything because they want all of the stash there and then. It is still very much you go in on a daily basis, you do a bit of grinding, you unlock some, a few different things, and that is it. Um,
Mhm.
the ability to pay to get through to the next one could be to do if something's a little bit too difficult, right? If there's a particular level that's too hard, then there is an ability to bypass that, right? And that in turn stops people from churning because there is ability to and at the end of the day, you are sort of cheating yourself a little bit. I would like to think that everyone would keep playing it and just get through it off their own skill and their own rig. But that's not also all the way it works, for all games. So yeah, we just give them the ability to do that, and that's much more realistic than buying the whole lot.
Uh, for me, it also looks like a safety measure when people were playing for like a month and they have just 5 levels to complete all of it, and on the
Yep.
last day of the season they will just boom and
Yep.
buy them all, just not these.
Yeah, I mean, look, Call of Duty
Uh,
does it at the beginning of a new season, right? You can buy the premium
yeah,
pass, which has like skip 30, and then so instead
yeah,
of having to go through the 100, you start at 30. So the ability to get to 100 is much shorter. It's the same principle as Call of Duty, but in a different way.
yep, yeah. Okay, let's go to the next one.
Michael, we had a quick question from Anastasia. I believe you.
Oh yeah, let's answer that.
Yes, I'm just gonna bring it up, but I believe we partially answered it. Does the decision to reactivate seasons negatively affect retention? In essence, the player no longer needs to log in every season. He can skip any number of them and still have all the reward.
So, at least from our perspective, what we're doing is re-enabling sort of frozen content. So, if you think about it from our perspective, we've spent a lot of time building out the seasons, the tracks, done the IP partnerships, the bikes, all of that stuff. But once the season ends, that content it just sits there, right? It's had its moment, it's had its time. So, the ability to do a 9.99 season pass to unlock that previously developed content means that we are able to monetize something that if not, then it would just sit there and we would never make any more money. It would basically have the season would have a cap. This allows us to reattribute some additional revenue to the other seasons, and some seasons are much more popular than others. So the ability to do a purchase and then allow people to go back and play what they want to play, it actually increases retention. So yeah, we don't see a negative effect from this.
All right, thank you so much.
Also, I see this as a really good way to build a relationship with player because they start trust you. When they come to the game, like today, I installed the game today, okay, and there is a like season 11, but I see that all the previous seasons are available for me, and I see, okay, what I have missed. Half a year ago, they had this season with this branding, with this IP. I really love it. And they give me the option to buy it as if I were in the game half a year ago. And I will, like, this builds relationship, really. I like that approach.
Yes.
Okay, let's go to the next
Mm,
slide.
And just to let our audience know, I know it's past past our the webinar time. We will wrap up shortly, maybe another 15 minutes or so, just to give you a brief estimate. All right.
Yeah, but we mixed the Q&A a bit into this process, so we are kind of improvising here. Okay. By the way, yeah, this slide we were talking about before, so let's skip it. We already talked about it. So LiveOps events. That was kind of strange for me to see time limited event like a short leaderboard for 3 hours embedded into single player career mode. Usually you see these types of like short racing leaderboard event types, like live ops events, designed a bit differently. They don't like they don't mix with single player content or with a like story mode or narrative mode. But here they're like interlapping. So
Yeah,
was it intentional or it just
it's
looks like live
nature.
ops event?
Yeah, so it is intentional, basically, Michael, because it's the nature of racing. Like, if you're racing, there is always a leaderboard, you know?
Mhm.
Every race of any racing sport, there's always that podium finish, and you're seeing other people. So the competition or the nature of competition is embedded into the sport. So people are just much more engaged with it in every aspect of or every mode of the game. So obviously this one is less impactful than the one you would have in league, because the one in the league is actually like the proper P versus P where everyone really cares about. But what you're showcasing is just another way to get people engaged through that competition effect.
And this is like a short teaser to the leagues because this
Exactly.
one lasts for
Yeah.
3 hours and there it's like 7 days.
Exactly. You've hit
Okay.
you've hit the nail on the head. Exactly.
Okay. Let's go to the next one. So yeah, when you reach level 10, you unlock events. And in this section, mm, yeah, you have like midterm goal to reach level 10. I was wondering what events are there, and I was surprised again. When what first when I saw like uh, here some more modes locked by level 18, duel and versus, which are looking the same for me, like a synonyms. And then I went into events, and inside the events there are also duels. I felt kind of confused, but I hope you will enlighten me. What's the difference? Because I never get to level 18. I don't know what's behind this lock. What's the difference between this duel and this duel? So please.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a great answer for you, to be honest with you, because I'm not sure myself. No, like
Oh,
Jules is like a 1v1 sort of format, and versus is a little bit more robust than that. There's more people involved. Um, but look, at the end of the day, what we're showcasing here is there are multiple different modes, right, which gives people the ability to play in different fashions, right? And the whole idea of this is just giving someone the ability to do something different, so they don't get burnt out playing the same thing time and time and time again. And it's the same way that a lot of different games have, other different modes that are slightly different to the original one, but it's all about creating some form of difference and different ability to be competitive, and maybe you're slightly better of this versus that. But all in all, Michael, the difference isn't very vast, if I'm honest. It's a racing game, there is literally a start point and an end point, right? And that is what you've got to achieve. But the idea for
how
our
many
users,
ways you can compete, like being the first one.
exactly, right? Exactly. But it just
Okay.
like I said, it's the ability to create some form of difference, but realistically speaking, the overall difference is not that vast. And I think most people, once they get to level 18, they'll realize they either like dual slightly more than versus, or versus slightly more than dual. But to be honest with you, league is the winning feature here, right? That's the one that gets the most traction. So career is like training people to learn the physics, and then league is where they show off and actually start to
with
really,
real people, but with real people almost in real time, they just compare themselves to.
Exactly.
Okay, numbers. The next slide. Here in events section, you have this type of event called jam, which lasts, I guess, I don't remember how long does it get, like 8 days or 7 days. And they're different. They're kind of mods. They have different requirements to join. Like sometimes they require some particular bike or something else. And again, in the same fashion as in season passes, here you have full history of all the jams that passed, like 500 of them, but you cannot replay them here. What's the reason to show all this history if you cannot play them? Why do you keep them here?
Yeah, I mean, look, again, the big difference is what you've sort of noticed, which is with the seasons we allow the replayability by doing it. Jams is purely driven by community. So we actually have someone internally that creates the tracks for the jams on a weekly basis. And the idea is that is also managed through our Facebook and Discord channels. And it's about driving people to contribute to the jam as essentially like a mini seasonal event. So in terms of the array here, like why do we show it so many of them? I think that's just the design of the page itself. But the real thing here is creating bespoke, small season-based LiveOps events, which have custom tracks that are created by us as a community driver and an engagement point. So it doesn't matter about. We could just show Jam 501 rather than showing all of them. But at least in this way, but I think because probably the frequency that we do it, like it is a weekly thing, that's perhaps why it just stacks up essentially.
Okay. Let's go to the next one. Another duo. You have a win streak here, which is a complete mystery for me. I played duel. Okay, got some points. I understood the mechanic, but when I see win streak and I see nothing about like in the rules how to use it, what will I have if I reach some win streak? Is it a like completed feature, or maybe it's just work in progress, or what is it actually there?
Yeah, look, I think it's something that we started to develop, and the idea was to try and promote the benefits of creating a win streak, right? If you end up winning X amount of races on a row, like this would build more acclaim, this would give some sort of multiplier to the rewards. But all in all, I think that the response to the feature wasn't as good as we would have hoped. So now it's pretty much what would I call it? Like a background feature. It's not something that drives engagement. It's not something that we have doubled down on. It's still there. People can still see the progression bar building and stuff like that. But it just didn't have the response that we would have hoped to double down and create a more robust feature around it.
Okay. Probably we have a case of like feature cannibalization here. Probably the like another type of duel that they can reach from another entrance point. Okay, let's go to the next one. Oh, whoa, we are done with Deconstructing.
We have reached the Q&A, which we
I didn't expect to finish this so quickly. Guys, thank you so much. If you have any questions, please shoot. We are here. We will answer them. We have some time reserved. Let's talk.
Yes. Feel free to leave your questions. Just we'll wait for another minute or two. I know if we brought to the stage the two that were organic to our conversation. But in the meantime, I just wanted to thank you, Michael, for such an insightful unpacking of the game and for playing it, for noticing, for observing all of the things that it's missing and is featuring. So thank you so much for such a detailed breakdown, and thank you, John, um, for for your amazing feedback on all of the Michael's observations.
Yeah, I mean, look, Michael did his homework. He came to play. I've also got to remind people I've only been at the company for 3 months, and even though I've been extensively playing the game, it's still fairly new to me. So I'm happy there wasn't anything that completely I completely didn't know about, which was good. I was a little bit worried, but all in all, I thought it was a very fun session.
What level you are now?
Oh, I think I've not unlocked level 18 yet. I've got the bike 3, and I'm in whatever the world after Canada is.
Okay.
All right.
Probably you should buy a couple of seasons.
Yeah, mate. I'm gonna have to buy the season pass now. Like I need to practice what I preach.
Yes.
But you know what? They usually have it as a part of company benefits, right? A little bit of cash on spending in the game. And
Yeah, I could expense it, I guess, but I won't.
yes. Anyway, thank you, Daniel. You take care as well. We've got just some comment. All right, we're going to be wrapping up our session. I just have a few things to quickly mention. So to wrap up, thank you so much for joining us today again. Keep an eye out for our big update. We're releasing a big update in Balancy soon, so I'll keep you posted on it. Observe our LinkedIn page, it will be there. If you're heading to Gamescom, I'll be there and I would love to meet. So I'm going to drop my LinkedIn in the chat in case if you would like to meet up. I know that John would also be there. So if you want to meet John, hit them up in DMs. And this session recording will be sent to everybody. Keep an eye out on your inbox. And finally, don't forget to follow us on LinkedIn. We post quite some content weekly, articles, short videos, tutorials, and webinars as such. So thank you so much all for being here, and we'll see you at the next webinar.
Thanks, guys. Thank you for being
everybody. Have a
Bye-bye.
nice evening. Bye.
Bye.